Welcome back, college football and black and gold fans, to the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, the channel where we examine, discuss, celebrate, and honor all things college football across the entire college football landscape. I'm your usual host, Blair Parks. Holla at you, boy! And it's great to be back with you here on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. So what I have on tap for you today is I'm going to share with you, after much deliberation and reflection, research, my top 5 coaches from the 2023 college football season, plus 2, because I do have 2 honorable mentions, as I normally do, and I can't wait to get your feedback and your insight and opinion based on who I believe should have made this very short list of the college football coaches elite shortlist. If this is your first time joining me here on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, welcome. You are always welcome here as a fellow college football fan. If you have been searching the wilderness, looking for a channel that is a gathering spot, a safe zone, a safe haven for all things college football and all college football fans, welcome home. This is the channel for you. And as I've always said in previous episodes, I will say it again. These episodes are driven by you, the college football fan. Me, I am just your average college football fan, and I thank you, as I always do, for allowing me to share my love for all things college football with you on the weekly. So please, I always ask for, welcome, and want your participation. So during the episode, please get involved, exercise your college football voice, your right. Go ahead and comment below in the section, and I promise you I will get back to each and every one of you individually much sooner than later. So please get involved, and please help me find more college football fans just like you. So please spread the word. Let's go ahead and get more subscribers. If you like what you hear and what you see, click that notification button. Join the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog channel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. My top 5 plus 2 list of college football coaches, head coaches from the 2023 season. Now, just to add, this list is not a longevity list or a list of previous accomplishments before the 2023 season. This is based solely on what these coaches at these programs were able to accomplish during last season. All right, so do not expect Kirby Smart on here, anybody like that. Okay, this is just what happened last season. Now, the criteria for how I selected these top 5 plus 2 really depends on a lot of situations and circumstances. I considered sharing them with you right now before I dove into this list, but I thought it'd be better for me just to bring these to your attention while I am breaking this list down. So please get involved. I want you to comment below to anything that I say, my opinion, my analysis, my comments. Please get involved, and thank you for all you do. I can't wait to hear from you. So let's go ahead and start off with my honorable mentions. These 2 coaches that just missed the official list, but I definitely have to give them some shout out and a little pat on the back for a job well done. My second coach out is Missouri's Eli Drinkwitz. And what a season the Tigers had. If you are joining me, I am a resident of the Show Me State, and Columbia is really just a stone's throw away. So Missouri is my local FBS Power 4, no longer Power 5, Power 4 team near my location. And what a great year the Tigers had. Now, I'm going to start off by saying this. Preseason, prior to the kickoff for the 23 season, BetMGM pegged the over-under win total for Missouri right at 6. And what did they accomplish during the regular season? Final record was 11-2, capped off by that big, huge Cotton Bowl victory over number 7 Ohio State, one of the bluest of all blue bloods in our sport. Now, here's the thing. A lot of folks are going to think that Eli Drinkwitz should have made the official top 5 list. And once again, these are completely subjective. I'm just looking further in certain criteria of, hey, are you on the list or did you just miss the cut? Now, the only thing that I'm holding against Coach Drinkwitz at Missouri is really who they played. Now, of those 10 regular season wins, granted, they really only had one really legit win that I see. They did defeat reigning Big 12 champions Kansas State, the Wildcats, in the non-conference portion of their schedule. But 4 of their SEC victories came against teams that were sub 500. Florida, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, and South Carolina. So the 2 best teams they played during the regular season, LSU and Georgia, both defeated them. So those were their 2 losses. But still, that big-time Cotton Bowl victory, even though a lot of players, well, primarily quarterbacks, the quarterback position for Ohio State was MIA as far as transferring out. But still, you cannot blemish that victory. You cannot take that away from them. Big-time victory for Coach Drink and the Tigers. And this is a program that is absolutely ascending. They are trending in the right direction. Now, my first coach out as far as making the top 5 list, this was a tough one for me. All right. Initially I had him in the list, but then I looked more in depth and I moved him as my first out. I'm going at number 6, Florida State's Mike Norvell. Preseason, BetMGM had the Seminoles at over under 9.5 wins. Their final record was 13-1. That loss coming at the hands of Georgia in the bowl game, but you really can't. I know we all saw what happened. All right, we saw how Georgia absolutely embarrassed Florida State. I believe a 62 burger was put up on them. But then again, that does not tell you how good of a coach Mike Norvell is. When you look at the team that missed that bowl game, half of his starters had either opted out, transferred out, or were moving on to the NFL draft. Now, not half of the starters on just one side of the ball. Not like it was half of his offense or half of his defense. Half of his starters, period, did not play in that bowl game. So, in other words, a perfect 13-0 record for Coach Mike Norvell at Florida State this past season. They were the ACC champions. They defeated Louisville to claim that title and that trophy. But here's the reason why I don't have him in the top 5. The ACC, unfortunately, it was down this season. Now, I hate to punish somebody based on the conference and the schedule that is in front of them or that they play in, right? But I have to take this into consideration. Now, here's the thing. I think 2 of the most impressive victories they had this season. Now, they did defeat LSU in the opening week, all right, down in Orlando, Florida at a neutral site game. But at the very end of the season, game 12 for them, they had to go on the road to take on their in-state rival Florida in the Swamp in Gainesville. Now, why did that end up being a big victory? It's because that was the first career start for their second-string quarterback, all right? And Florida, their rival, had everything to play for. They were sitting there at 5-6. They needed a victory to get bowl eligible. And also, it would have been a big-time upset to rub it in the face of their in-state rival to potentially then keep them out of the college football playoff field, which ultimately they were left out anyway. But they were able to go on the road, defeat their in-state rival, and then the next week defeated Louisville, as I mentioned, in the ACC championship game, but with a third-string quarterback at the helm. Due to the late season injury of quarterback Jordan Travis, they had to find answers at the most important position in all of sports, not just our sport. So I think through all that adversity, Coach Mike Norvell did a great job keeping his team together all the way up until the 11th hour on Selection Sunday, when they were not officially invited to the college football playoff field. And I think that really came down to missing their quarterback, Jordan Travis. That's what it basically was. But I think this is a great thing for Florida State. They're now kind of climbing back. I do definitely believe there's some staying power for the Seminoles. It took maybe a little bit longer than some of you Florida State fans wanted, but you have to remember, the status that this program was in was awful. All due to the fraud, the fraud that he is, the fake news that he is. Coach Jimbo Fisher absolutely let that culture rot there at Florida State. So it did take Mike Norvell a little bit of time to finally get the locker room in order, and actually took another coach before him in Willie Taggart as well. So welcome back, Florida State. Mike Norvell, congratulations. You're my first coach off the list, but you were right there. So those are my two honorable mentions. Missouri's Eli Drinkowitz, Florida State's Mike Norvell. Please comment, like, share, subscribe, get involved. I can't wait to hear from you. So let's move into my official top 5 list. Starting off at number 5, I've got Arizona's head coach, now the Washington head coach. I've got Jedd Fisch coming in at number 5. And I was really in between kind of flipping Jedd Fisch and Mike Norvell, their spots, but I ultimately landed on Jedd Fisch. Preseason, Arizona had a over-under win total set at 3. 3 games, and what did they end up doing? Well, they only went 10-3 overall and finished with a number 11 ranking for the season. And I forgot to mention Missouri, with that Cotton Bowl victory, ended up with a number 8 final ranking. So great year for Missouri and a great year for Arizona, especially when you look at what was going on at Arizona and within the Pac-12. I mean, they went 7-2 in Pac-12 conference play. And hands down, the Pac-12 was the deepest, most stringiest, most competitive conference this past season. It just was. That's non-debatable. It was the best conference, okay? So they went 7-2 in conference play, including a 3-game win streak against conference foes who were ranked. So what a great accomplishment for a team really out of nowhere. I have to factor in what they did the previous season and what were they expected to do this season. And the previous season of 22, Arizona went 5-7. So what a great comeback. What a great year for Arizona and Jedd Fisch, who now takes over Kalen DeBoer's spot at Washington, as I mentioned. And they defeated Oklahoma in their bowl game and finished with a number 11 ranking in the nation. So what a great coaching job by Jedd Fisch this season. And I expect good things from Coach Fisch at Washington as they enter the Big Ten this season coming up. All right, please like, share, comment, subscribe, get involved. Now let's move on to number 4. Number 4, I've got Alabama's Nick Saban. That's right, the GOAT. I've got him on my top 5 list. Here's why. Preseason, Alabama was pegged at 10 wins was the over-under number. Overall, they went 12-2. They did earn a college football playoff field invite after them defeating Georgia in the SEC title game. But this is why I think that Nick Saban really coached well above and beyond what he normally is capable of, and this team followed suit. After that early season loss at home versus Texas, and you could tell that they had an issue, a quarterback issue. It was undeniable This team was unlike many Alabama teams of the past during the Nick Saban era. They had an absolute flaw. And what did they do? Then they eked out that win against South Florida, the Bulls, I believe 14-3 or 14-6. And it was looking like it was going to be a long year for the Crimson Tide, especially for quarterback Jalen Milroe. So how did Alabama respond after these early season challenges and these early season issues at quarterback? Well, they only responded by running the table in SEC conference play. A perfect 9-0 when you factor in that SEC championship game victory over Georgia. I mean, what a great coaching job this was by Nick Saban. And in my opinion, my humble opinion, that I believe this is hands down, this was his best coaching job and season while at Tuscaloosa. He has since now retired. He is playing golf for a living now. So thank you for all that you did for our sport, Coach Saban. You will not be forgotten. You will always be the GOAT. So what a great coaching job by Nick Saban this year. And this was not an elite Alabama team. Yes, Alabama has talent. They're always going to have talent. But this was a team that had a lot of chinks and kinks in that armor. They absolutely did. But yet he was able to get them to the college football playoff field. So great job, Nick Saban. Please like, share, comment, rate. Let me know what you think. Subscribe. Number 3 on my list of the top 5 coaches from the 2023 college football season, I've got to go with Kansas's coach, Lance Leipold. All right. Preseason, BetMGM, they pegged Kansas for over under 6 victories. And what did they do during the regular season? They went 9-4. They defeated UNLV in the bowl game, and they finished with a number 23 ranking. Now, 9-4, number 23, I know that doesn't sound all that impressive. I get you. But let's not lose focus of who we are talking about. This is the Kansas football program. Not Kansas basketball, mind you. I mean, when it comes down to Kansas football, it kind of reminds me of the scene from Major League. Well, what team do you play for, Jake? I play for the Indians right here in town. I didn't even know they still had a team. Yeah, we got uniforms and everything. It's real great. That's how a lot of people think about Kansas football. Does it even exist? All right? And they absolutely do, thanks to Coach Lance Leipold. All right, this is what he did. This is why he is absolutely deserving to be on this list, but number 3, if not maybe even higher. I mean, there was a time when I was thinking Lance Leipold, number 2, maybe even number 1, absolutely has a good argument to be higher on this list, but he ended up falling here at 3. Here's why. The highlight for the Jayhawks this year, they defeated number 6 Oklahoma, which was the first time they had defeated the Sooners since 1997. But here's the catch. Going 9-4, they were without the Big 12's preseason player of the year, offensive player of the year, quarterback Jalen Daniels. He only played in 3 games last year. So primarily the backup, Jason Bean, led the Jayhawk attack, and they still got to 8 wins in the regular season. They were right there in the end to potentially qualify for the Big 12 title game. All right, they were. It's so impressive to think about, going 9-4 at Kansas, but then without your starting quarterback. All right? So what he has done there, he has brought this program to life, and there now is actual expectations for Kansas. All right? And it's great to have them back. And by the way, I love to see Lance Leipold patrolling the sidelines at Kinnick Stadium decked out in black and gold. I would love seeing that, by the way. All right? So Lance Leipold, I got them number 3 on my list. Let me know what you think. Like, share, comment, rate, subscribe, hit that button. Now let's go to the top 2 on my list. Now, number 2 on my top 5 coaches of 2023 is Northwestern's David Braun. That's right. Some of you are thinking Northwestern? Coach Braun, who? Exactly. All right. Let me break it down what was going on at the Northwestern football program. First of all, preseason, they were pegged over under 3 wins. 3 lonely victories as all Vegas saw the Wildcats winning. And quite frankly, I remember telling some of you, actually all of you who listened, after news broke about the firing of Mr. Wildcat himself, Coach Pat Fitzgerald, right before the season began, to probably think about betting the under on the Wildcats. And what did they do? How did they respond under Coach David Braun? They went 8-4 overall. Actually, they went. They went 8-4, and they defeated Utah in the bowl game. Actually, they went 8-5, I believe, is what they did. They went 8-5. They defeated Utah in their bowl game, Pac-12 powerhouse that they are. They got to 7 victories in the regular season. Now, that doesn't tell everything about the obstacles that Coach David Braun had to climb, all right? Let me break this further down to you. He really brought this team back from cardiac arrest. The previous season of 22, Northwestern had one single victory, and that was all the way back in week 0 against Nebraska across the pond in Ireland. So they didn't even win a game 2 seasons ago on the North American continent. That's where this program was. And then we got the word about Coach Fitzgerald being fired due to the scandal involving bullying and sexual harassment, sexual bullying as well. And even before that, everybody picked Northwestern to finish dead last in the Big Ten West, a team that was completely devoid of talent. They already were. And who do they name as the interim coach? It's David Braun, a guy who has 0 coaching experience at the Division I level. Not just Power 5, but Division I level in general. This was his first year in 23. He was hired from the FCS ranks as a coordinator, and then named the interim head coach. He was put out there on display to take all the questions at Big Ten Media Day. And how does he respond? He goes 8-5 overall, 7-5 in the regular season, and now has been given the full-time job at Northwestern. I mean, this man literally saved their program. This is a program that was already sinking very deep in the depths, okay? Could I maybe have seen the way things were going, Northwestern to maybe fall back to an FCS school to play football? I could see it. But this man saved their program. So David Braun, I mean, if he would have gotten Coach of the Year, period, I would have been totally fine with that. He did win Big Ten Coach of the Year, very deservingly so. So David Braun, take a bow. You deserved it to be number 2 on my list of the top 5 coaches from the 23 season. But wow, I mean, it's really impressive. It's one of those things to where, in that situation, if somebody coaches 10 seasons, maybe they're only a winning record once or twice, and he did it with his only shot. It's very, very impressive. All right, so now, here it is, the moment you've all been waiting for. Who was, to me, the best coach in 2023? And after much thought, I've got to go with Coach Khaki himself. That's right, Michigan's Jim Harbaugh. BetMGM had them as over under 10.5 wins preseason. And what did they do? They went a perfect 15-0. They finished as the only undefeated team in the nation, not only winning the Big Ten title, but also the national title game as well. And this is why, all right? Now, the last 2 previous seasons, Jim Harbaugh had also won the Big Ten, defeated his arch rival to the south in Ohio State, gotten to the college football playoff, but just had early exits, okay? And they didn't look all that impressive in both of those attempts to get to the national championship game. So coming into the season, there was a lot of pressure on him. And you saw that basically a ton of those potential seniors who could have went to the NFL or hit the transfer portal, they stayed. They stayed and all claimed together, we have unfinished business here, all right, at the University of Michigan. And they saw that drive, that dream come true this season by winning the national championship. And so it's not really a talent issue. They have talent. But the culture there at Michigan was made so strong. Even with all of the offseason shenanigans of Coach Harbaugh, flirting continuously with the NFL, which now he has officially taken the head coaching job at San Diego for the San Diego Chargers of the NFL. But during the season, you look at all of the obstacles, all of the distractions this team faced. I mean, yes, Coach Harbaugh missed 6 games. He missed half of the regular season. So some of you might be saying, well, right there, Blair, he doesn't deserve to be on this list, but he still kept this ship afloat and kept it pointed to the horizon on course. He did. All right. All of the accusations, the scandal with, the sign stealing gate, the recruiting issues, but still to accomplish what they did. All right. This is why, to me, he's the best coach this season. This past season, he was, because somebody finally broke the SEC stranglehold on the national championship. And preseason, maybe I'm a little bit biased here, not because I'm a Big Ten man, but preseason, I picked Michigan to win the whole damn thing. I believe they were the best team. I believe they had the most depth, and they were the most motivated, and they had that experience. It came to fruition, obviously. But I remember during my Rose Bowl preview and prediction episode, I picked Michigan to win, and a lot of the Alabama fans completely just chewed me up and spit me out, basically saying things like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. They should just cancel your channel. We feel sorry for you. You're basically just stupid. You're dumb. Okay. All right. But the thing is, it was so hard for people to stomach it. Now, let's say I would have picked maybe Georgia to defeat Alabama. I think then people wouldn't take it all that difficult, Alabama fans, right? But because me saying and believing that, a team from the Big Ten, a team from up north can and will defeat you was just too much to take, all right? But ultimately, I proved to be right. Michigan was and is the best team this past season. They were, regardless of who they would have played, all right? So I think because of those circumstances, all of the distractions, defeating the SEC, just to show that, hey, other conferences can get it done against them to win the national championship. That's why I've got Coach Jim Harbaugh number 1 on my list of the top 5 coaches from the 2023 season. So that's it, guys, for today's episode. Please get involved. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I can't wait to hear from you. Get involved. Let me know what you think about my list. Let me know, hey, do you agree with it? Do you disagree? This person, should they be higher? Should this person be lower? This person not on your list at all? Please let me know. I can't wait to hear from you. Next week, I will be back. I'm going to do a look back on the bold predictions I made prior to kickoff of the 2023 season. I'm going to reflect on those and see how I did with my 25 crystal ball and bold predictions. And I believe I did fairly well. So you definitely want to check that out next week. So thank you for all that you do and have done for the channel. It is much appreciated, because once again, none of this is possible without your support and all the good things you do for the channel. So until next week, please subscribe, like, share, comment. Have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend. Enjoy the weather. And I'll see you next week on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. See ya. Bye-bye.